You caught me. You've all been wondering how I get such amazing large big orchids, and today I'll share with you the trick since you caught me while I'm doing it. How do we manage to grow these orchids so big and get so many flowers and look pristine all the time? This is the trick. Well, it's not really a trick. You've just got to know your orchid a little bit and understand what you're doing, because you can make so many mistakes along the way and stop your orchid from getting to look like this. And how do we do it? Well, let's get started with how we make sure that they look like they're in pristine condition when they've got all their blooms on them. It's not a matter of tending to your plant continuously all year long, manicuring it to the nth degree. It's more a matter of going in once you have all these flowers happening already and snipping off all those old damaged parts. So you're basically just clearing up any of those leaves that look like they are a mess, that have been attacked at some point, that have a bit of either sun damage or fungal damage or anything like that, and clearing them out. So yes, this is definitely very much a cheat method of doing it, ensuring that your orchid is looking good while it is in flower, because perhaps for the rest of the year while it's not in flower, it's looking a little bit shabby. You're allowing the leaves to look a little bit tattered and torn, perhaps a little bit sunburnt and fungal attacked, or not fungal, well, yeah, maybe sometimes fungal attacked, but looking a little bit more worn. And then when it comes to it being in full show, you come through, clean it up, and make it look like it's looked like this all its life. And people wonder how you do it. And why do I do it this way? There's several reasons that I do it this way. One of the major ones is the fact that the more you cut open into your leaf, the more you're opening it up to infection. So I really like to keep as little infection wounds open as possible. So I don't like to do it all the year long, because that gives the whole year of possible other infections that can get in through those wounds that I've made. But that does not mean you're not going to be treating your plant the whole year. You're still going to be looking after it as you would any of your other orchids. You're going to be feeding it, watering it, and using pesticides or insecticides as needed, and fungicides. But when your plant is so big, don't go overboard with those. Remember, when feeding plants like this, you may think, the more I feed it, the more it's going to grow, the bigger it's going to grow, the faster it's going to grow, the more flowers I'm going to get. But that is wrong. What's going to happen is the more you feed it, the higher salt buildups you're going to get in your media, the more damage you could do to your plant, which means possibly then the more watering you're going to have to do, the more flushing you're going to have to do to try and get rid of those excess salts, which means you're now going to start causing problems with the roots again. You're going to cause rot, you're going to bring in infection, and that's going to set your plant back further. So your best bet to get large plants like this is basically leaving them to themselves. Of course, with that constant feeding and watering that you're going to be doing to your other plants just to look after and manage them, is the same that you're going to be doing for this, or for your larger plants, your big mother plants. You're going to be looking after them in the same way. No extra palliative care, is that the right word, is going to be needed, because you're never going to be able to force your plant to grow faster than what it can. If your plant is happy and growing, then keep treating it in the same manner, and it's purely a matter of time. The longer your plant grows, the more you're going to get out of it. But remember, along with that growing of your plant, so comes the repotting, the dividing, all of that. that you have to try and avoid doing as much as possible. You may have noticed I haven't been cutting out all those blackened sections of the leaf completely. Only those leaves that have had the brown dead sections to them. I've just left these on. This is not going to affect the plant in any way, but it's going to help me avoid causing too much stress to the plant and of course too much physical damage, which is going to allow for the ingress of any bacterial or fungal infections. So I'm trying to limit that as much as possible. So I'll just wait till that goes brown and dead before I cut that off too. And also, being a completely pristine plant is not what you would see in nature anyway. In nature, you would always see those torn, twisted, burnt, blackened leaves or whatever it is. And we're not trying to make something that looks like a plastic plant. We're just trying to make our plant look as pleasing to the eye as possible without making it look fake. As the Japanese say, perfection in imperfection. To be able to get these large plants, you're going to have to try and manage your media very carefully. That's another reason that you're not going to be wanting to overfeed or overwater, because that's going to cause your media to rot more quickly. And as your media rots and decomposes, it's going to take the plant with it. So if you are able to use a media that's not going to decompose anyway, you're going to have a better chance of getting a plant looking like this. Because as you start having to repot it, you're disturbing all the roots. You're often killing a lot of those roots in that process. You're causing stress on the plant. It's going to grow a lot slower. Sometimes not all of it is going to recover. And you may land up with several pieces of plant as opposed to one large, big plant. So you have to take all of these things into account. Also, I know with a lot of us, as our plant starts getting bigger, our friends start asking us, can I have a little piece? This is where you've got to be nasty and say no. Sorry, friends, none for you. You've also got to suppress the urge to divide your plant so you can have more and more and more, because more doesn't always give you more flowers, more just gives you more plants. And let's face it, we really are in this for the flowers. And with Coelogyne flaccida like this, when it's got this many flowers on, you actually really don't want to be standing this close to it for too long. The scent on this is so pungent, it's making my eyes water. That's not to say it doesn't smell beautiful when you stand a mile away. You can smell that beautiful, soft, sweet fragrance. But as soon as you're next to it for too long, it begins to smell like cat pee, it burns your eyes, and makes you want to sneeze. But anyway, that's not what I was talking about. I was talking about how to make your plants, how to get such big, beautiful, immaculate plants. It's all a matter of cheating, really. Like I said, you clean up after your plant has already got to this point. You start taking off all those dead sections once your plant is getting to the point where it's going to look its best. Often I'll only remove all the dead parts of leaves and things that have fallen in between it at this point as well. That way I don't damage the plant, especially when it's in bud. You don't want to be doing this, because then you can start easily breaking off those buds if any of these leaves or sticks get caught in and around them. So as I've been saying all along, the best way to get your plant as full and beautiful with so many flower spikes is basically leaving it to its own devices. And remember, orchids know better than we do how they will need to grow to get to their maximum. And if we just let them get on with the job, don't fuss and faff too much, because too much care is what's going to cause more damage than anything else. A little bit of neglect never goes unrewarded. So remember, just managing your plant is going to be the most effective. Just by making sure throughout the year that your plant isn't heavily infested by insects or infected by fungus. Just doing the usual maintenance of your plant without going overboard, because we want to cause as little stress to the plant as possible, either through infection or infestation of insects, or through over management of our plant, through too much trimming, too much cutting back, too much repotting. We want our orchid to grow at its maximum all the time without being limited by any stress that is being put on it environmentally or by us. So really, it's not rocket science getting large orchids and these beautiful specimen plants, but it is a matter of being able to have a little bit of self-restraint and be able to step back away from your plant and watch it grow. It's not always easy when you've got a pair of these in your hands, but a little bit of self-restraint is going to go a long way, and your orchid's going to thank you for it. And if you're unsure what your orchid is and how to look after it to make it look this magnificent, remember Ed has posted more than 100 orchid-related articles in that Buy Me a Coffee link that we'll post in the description box down below. Go down, have a check. It's all put up in an easy-to-follow point form, so you can manage your orchids properly. And thank you for watching. If you found any of this information helpful, please hit that like button, hit that subscribe button, and that notification bell, bing bong, to be notified of all our upcoming content so you don't miss out on a thing. Help us grow as we help your orchids grow.